Today we're going to talk about driving.
It's the white time.
I'm Mandy from mandyscorner.com.
And I'm Spock.
We're the white sides.
I'm Tony, and today we're going to talk about driving. I think women are the worst drivers in the world.
Really? Why is that?
Because they can't drive, they don't pay attention, they talk on their cell phones. They're horrible.
Yeah, I don't think that's right at all.
So you think men are the worst drivers?
I wouldn't say that men are the worst drivers or women. I would just say that there are some crappy drivers.
Well, I think women are the worst overall.
And Tony, I would have to say that you might be one of those crappy drivers.
I don't think so.
I think so. You tend to drive like a grandma.
Yeah, but I'm safe. When you drive, it's scary.
Yeah, safe and wrapped in bubble wrap, right? So you end up getting to your destination, 5 hours later when it should have only taken an hour.
But I'm safe.
True. But I'm safe too. I tend to get to the place where we're going just fine.
Well, regardless of gender, drivers can be ridiculous sometimes.
That's the truth.
I was driving the other day, and I had my blinker on, waiting to turn to the right. There was another car coming down, and I was anticipating making a decision whether I should go or not, and I thought, okay, the car's going to go past rather quickly, and it kept getting slower and slower, and then it would speed up a little bit, and then it would slow down, and this was all over the period of 20 to 30 seconds. And then finally, when he gets right to the intersection of where I am, he turns on his blinker.
That's so annoying. I've had that happen before
No,
too.
why couldn't the guy just turn on his blinker when he was like 500 feet away so I could go and not have to wait for him to do that?
So Tony, tell us what you did.
I waited.
Yes. He waited. And he waited. Now me, on the other hand, I probably would have gone around that person and not waited. I'm not the most patient person.
So I'm going to give you a little quiz.
Okay,
We're going to see how good of a driver you actually are.
here we go.
Care to comment on your age? Wants to know your age?
No.
Yeah.
We'll say no contest on that one.
Gender?
Female.
You see a yellow light, what do? Do you A, slam on the accelerator and speed through? B, depends on how long the light was yellow? Or C, slam on the brakes? Will it stay yellow for 2 or 3 seconds? You don't know and you don't want to risk it.
I'd probably say B. How would you answer that one, Tony?
I'd probably go C. 4, do you use your turn signal? A, it's a habit. B, sometimes. Or C, no one needs to know where I'm going.
A, it's a habit. C, I can be safe.
Not speed-wise. How much faster than the posted speed limit do you typically drive? A, 5 miles per hour. B, 10 miles per hour. Or C, 15 or more. Or D, you always drive the speed limit.
I'm going to say A. And I'm going to say that you would say D.
Seriously? You're going to say 5 miles per hour?
Yes,
Really?
that's the truth.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, I'd say you're like 15 or more.
I'm going to say negative on that one, big one.
You're really going with 5.
I'm going with 5.
Do you ever use your cell phone while driving? A, all the time. B, only with a hands-free device. Or C, no, I call back when I'm stopped.
I'm going to say A. Guilty.
All the time.
I
would
do.
agree. 7, another driver cuts you off. You, A, flip him off. B, ride his butt. C, act like nothing happened and move on with your day.
Huh. Well, I'm going to say B.
You ride his butt.
I would.
Okay. Number 8. You see another car trying to turn that has been sitting there a long time. You, A, let the person in. B, drive on. It's not your problem.
I would let the person in. I do have a heart. Though I'm in a hurry, I have a heart.
So is it A or B?
It would be A.
Number 9, you stop at a stop sign and another driver waves you ahead. In return, you A, do nothing. B, flip him off. C, give a slight wave or nod of appreciation.
A slight wave and a nod appreciation. I acknowledge it when people are kind to me.
Number 10, you just passed a cop going one way and you see another car coming towards you. You A, flash your lights in an attempt to warn him. B, keep on driving, not your problem.
Keep on driving, not my problem.
You won't even let the guy know.
I wouldn't, because do you know that when I was in high school, people would tell you not to do that because it was an initiation for being in a gang, that they would drive with their lights off, and if people flashed their lights at you, then they would come after you and attack you as a means of getting into a gang. So, needless to say, I would do nothing.
Well, what if it's an old granny sitting in the car?
But you don't know it's an old granny.
Well, you see the granny.
You can't see. You cannot be a good attentive driver and know who's driving in another car coming at you.
Sometimes you can.
Sometimes you can, but rarely. So I'm going to say no. I'm not going to take that risk.
All right, last question. You are sitting in a restaurant eating, and a man comes up and asks you if you have jumper cables. You have some, but do you A, help him, or B, lie and say you don't have any?
I guess you would have to elaborate a little bit more on that.
That's the question. You're eating in a restaurant. Guy wants jumper cables.
What if he's
Do you help
wicked
him?
scary?
Or not? Then you would go B.
What if it's like some serial killer that's trying to like lure you to the parking lot by having you like jumper cables to his car because his car isn't working?
Or it could be an old grandpa.
I would probably help the old grandpa.
Okay, well, which one? You have to answer for all circumstances. Help him?
Overall, I probably would help. If it was somebody that I was a little bit question of, I would probably ask somebody to come with me.
Oh, shit. I thought it said you're a bad driver. You're a good driver, 85%.
85%. Did you hear that, everybody? No, Tony. You can't use my driving against me anymore.
All right, so here's some statistics. It actually is statistically sound that men are worse drivers than women.
Do you believe that? Look at that. Now, me, I don't think that either sex is bad or good. It's about how you personally drive.
So men actually get more accidents than women. According to a New York City traffic study, 80% of all auto accidents that kill or seriously injure pedestrians involve male drivers. Further goes on to say, men get more traffic violations than women. Men are more likely than women to get cited for reckless driving, driving under the influence, seatbelt violations, speeding, failure to yield, and stop signal violations. Now, DUIs, one of the worst violations you can get in driving. Again, men take the outcome here. Men still outnumber women by a long shot when it comes to DUIs.
Feel free to weigh in below on what your opinion is and what you think about our show today.
I'm still going with women are worse. So the study asks, all right, so women are safer drivers, so what? Why is this? And the experts are saying that men are more aggressive behind the wheel, they are more likely to take risks and therefore more likely to make mistakes. Many believe this is because of higher testosterone levels. This higher likelihood to take risks fueled by testosterone also might be the reason why men are statistically more likely to drive under the influence, not wear a seatbelt, and speed.
So then, Tony, why do you drive like a grandma?
Because I want to be safe. Hey, when I got other people in the car that I'm driving around, and I have to get them safely to their destination.
You drive that way when you're by yourself.
Yeah, I also want to get myself safe to the destination.
So then you must not trust your driving.
No, I actually don't trust other people.
That's just an excuse. I think that if you're attentive and you watch your surroundings, then that's not a good excuse.
Yeah, but if I'm driving like a maniac...
I don't drive like a maniac, Tony.
I didn't say you were, but if
Yes,
I
he
was
has.
driving like a maniac, I couldn't offensively watch out for other people that are not obeying the signals or running a red light or not yielding. And therefore, if
But
I'm
I believe
being a
you can
safer
do
driver,
that with going the speed limit or 5 miles over. I believe you can do that. You go 10 miles under the speed limit.
No.
Yes, you do.
No.
Yes.
I
The speed
drive
limit will
the
be
speed limit.
75 and he'll be going 55. Seriously, I have witnesses.
No. There's a reason there's a speed limit.
Yeah, there is.
It's for safety. And if you exceed that even by 1 mile an hour, technically you are breaking the law.
Technically, yes, you are. I agree with that.
And so you're not supposed to speed.
That is correct.
That said, I have sped myself, and I do, but it is not wise. Yeah.
10 miles under.
No. So, here's some more statistics on insurance rates for different states. Most of them have higher insurance rates for men than women, and here are the 5 top states that have the broadest difference
Dun, 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 dun.
between men and women's
Tell us, Tony.
insurance rates. So Wyoming is the highest.
Not sure why
I
that
would've
would be one of them.
Not have guessed that. 20.3% difference between them. Now this does not mean that these 5 states are the highest insurance rates. It just means it's the largest difference between men and women's rate for being insured. In Wyoming, women are $495 typically for 6 months, and men are $621 for 6 months. Next area is actually Washington, D.C. with a 16% difference. South Dakota.
I kind of saw that one coming.
South Dakota?
No, Washington, D.C.
Why?
Because you have all those political craziness running all around, and you know, all those senators and stuff that don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
So they would have to have higher insurance.
South Dakota, 15.9, just under Washington, D.C. Arkansas.
They must be swerving around the buffalo or something.
So the men swerve and the women don't?
Right, no, apparently according to Tony, the women just speed up and go around the buffalo versus the men will actually aggressively just run into the buffalo.
I don't know who those men are.
Of course he doesn't.
Okay, did I say Arkansas? 14%.
No, I didn't know that.
And then Idaho, 14%.
Okay.
On the flip side,
That's because I think that New York and like Los Angeles and stuff, they're not listed as high because everybody just takes taxis.
takes what?
Taxi cabs,
No.
they don't drive.
Yeah.
So, why would you need insurance?
Okay, Iowa is actually the reverse. It's the only state that is higher for women. Every other state is higher for men.
Probably because the men are driving the tractors.
Yeah, but that's...
Right.
I don't think
So-
you even need insurance for tractors.
Well, that's what I'm trying to say is that the reason it's higher for women insurance in Iowa is because The men are out driving the tractors while the women are actually driving the cars.
Yeah, but that wouldn't even be part of the statistic because
Exactly. So that's why there's more women than men.
Okay. Well, they still have to drive to town and get supplies and
No,
stuff.
they can drive their tractor. I've seen that.
If you want to go 5 miles an hour.
Hi, there's Tony.
No.
Yeah, that's what Tony takes to the store. Jumps on his big old tractor.
Hey, I got a truck. Goes more than 5 miles an hour.
I know, 10.
And the second lowest state would be, or the lowest difference between men and women would be Montana, with only a 1.1% difference.
Well, thank you, Tony, for sharing these statistics with us.
Actually, Hawaii is only 1.3 too. It's interesting. Most people don't have cars in Hawaii.
I would think not. You can just drive your little four-wheeler from one island to the other.
So I guess that's the statistics. There is a comment on where I'm getting this from, and it does state, do men drive more hours or miles than women? If so, most of that analysis needs to be revisited. So
Agreed.
I would have to say women perhaps don't drive this much. So therefore they're
I
not
disagree.
part of the statistic.
Everywhere we go, you have me drive.
That's because you want to drive.
I do because I want to get there.
And it's scary.
It's not that scary.
Yeah, I have to close my eyes most of the time, hang on for dear life.
Whatever.
Especially when it's snowing or raining.
Whatever, Tony.
It's
That's
scary.
because, Tony, if it's snowing or raining, we have to pull over to the side of the road. So,
Yeah, you don't want to hydroplane or crash into the
Please.
snowbank.
please. When have we ever hydroplaned and crashed into the snowbank?
Well, we almost did when we were moving to Colorado. We went through Iowa, and there was that
Speaking
massive
of Iowa,
snowstorm.
yes, there was. But we did not end up going into any kind of snow ditch or anything like that.
Yeah, because we were literally driving 15 miles an hour on the interstate. Semis were
Right.
going into the ditch.
I don't think that that's a very fair example
Right.
because, of course, when the weather is like that, you need to drive slower. If it's sleeting or if there's snow flurries, you don't need to pull over to the side of the road, Tony.
Yeah, but you can't always tell. Prime example, black ice, made up of frozen carbon dioxide from the exhaust of cars.
True.
You can't see that on the
True.
road.
You need to drive offensively.
So what are you going to do? Speed until you hit a patch of black ice and
I'm
then
not saying
end up in the
speed.
ditch?
I'm saying you can go the speed limit.
Okay. When it's snowing in the mid of winter, it's not a good idea to go 75 miles an hour, or in your case, 90,
Oh, whatever.
down
That's a
the
lie.
interstate and end up in the ditch.
I do not go 90. I said 5 miles over.
Yeah, I think you estimated the wrong way.
Okay, so you're saying that I go 5 miles under?
No, I'm saying you estimated lower than what you actually went, because you go more like 90.
Actually, I don't. If I went more like 90, I would have tickets.
Okay, how
Today
do
I
we-
have no tickets.
Okay, you're good at spotting the police or
Oh, yeah.
something.
Because
How-
I just have internal radar for
How do we
police.
get to our destination so fast? If you're going the speed limit,
I take the toll roads.
that's only part of it, and that saves like 15 minutes at most.
Right, but I don't go more than 5 miles over the speed limit.
So how do we get there so fast?
I don't know. Maybe it's because you're sleeping for most of the time.
I don't think so.
I think so.
Well, this has been the White Sides with It's the White Time. She's Amanda. I'm Tony. Hope you join us next time, and feel free to throw some comments down below of what you'd like us to talk about next time. Feel free to also like us, and appreciate if you subscribe. See you next time.
Thanks, everybody.